Hi folks, about 5 o'clock, September 24th, Tuesday, 67 degrees. The sun has now passed my solar cells up there, so they're not fully charged anymore. I've just kind of been going through the piles here, and I don't know if you guys could tell. Probably doesn't look it. But no matter which angle I come at, it doesn't look it because things are spread out. But I've tried to make a little more space down here. And while I've been doing that, I've been kind of putting some tools away. There you go, you can see I put an upper shelf on there. Put the chop saws, that chop saw, a couple of weed blowers and so forth, and here's the other chop saw. This chop saw is heavy, so it's supported by that guy, and in the corner I have a 2x4 across, so that's really nice and strong. Yeah, you know, as you're kind of putting together one of these shelves, you're always trying to figure out exactly what you want to do and how exactly you're going to do it and so forth. So I'm kind of, playing with spacing and all. In a way, I really wouldn't mind if these guys, both of them, in that tank, weren't on a small cart that rolled right underneath. And if you take a moment and listen to my thought process, a lot of times when you're welding, you actually like to look down. You actually like to look down at the torch as you're welding, and you like to look at the weld. Having something up this high, let's pretend this is the torch. It's actually up too high to be comfortable and to be able to see what one is up to. So I've been actually, and this is what takes time, I've been looking at this cart, and I've been considering cutting it off right at the shelf. And if I cut it off at the shelf, from the shelf to the top is 25 inches. That's 27 inches. 3 or 2 inches really isn't enough to get wheels on it. Also, this cart is a little too wide. This cart is almost 20 inches. It's 19 and a half. And the space underneath there between the block wall and the pillar, that's 12 inches, 13, 14 at the most. And I really don't want things sticking out. I'm trying to get everything back behind here. So anyway, this is all what I'm up to. And while figuring out what I'm keeping, what I'm killing, I bought this laundry basket full of quad parts, I guess it was. And I didn't pay much for it. I think I gave him maybe, $10, $20. And you can see kind of what's wrong with it here, right? Pumpkin is broken. Completely screwed. I don't know. I don't think that went together. I think there might have been something else. But it came with, brake drums and hydraulics for brake lines. Came with a couple of, steering rods. And they appear to be in pretty good shape. As a matter of fact, when I looked at it, I think I basically picked these up. And I said, how much? And he said, $20. And I said, that's a lot. And he said, no, for the whole basket. Once again, I guess this is off of some four-wheel drive quad. And specifically, the one good piece out of all of it is this guy. And I've looked this guy over completely. I've spun it around and looked at the drum, looked at everything, and I cannot find a single Honda stamp, a single part number, anything on this. And just spending a moment looking at it, I mean, if somebody needs this thing, you got a lot here. I mean, you got the axle that appears to be good. You got the brakes, the drums, the hydraulic line. I mean, you got the whole shooting match here. So, and basically my question is, for you folks that work on these things, Wally, you seem to put quite a bit of time in. Honda TRX or ATC TRX guy, DW Morgan. I mean, the crew of you out there, can any of you just kind of look at this thing and tell me what it is off of? I know that's kind of asking a lot. Maybe by looking at the drum, maybe by looking at the hydraulics. It seems to be a double brake. It must have two expansion cylinders on it, because it's got two, it goes to both sides, so there must be cylinders on both sides. I don't know, can you guys recognize this? Brake drums that appear to adjust in the front there. Once again, I've looked these over just by virtue of the fact that there's not a single marking on it. Who does not mark their stuff? Almost all Honda parts, somewhere or another, have an HM. You know, Honda Motors. This tank was in there. Once again, no markings on it. Well, those markings. Wait a minute, can you see them? I mean, that Quasi K Kawasaki. I mean, this was also in there. I assume this is from the back. It's a manual brake, obviously. I don't know. Once again, not a single marking on it. So, if somebody could tell me what the mystery parts are, what they go to, I wouldn't mind. If somebody needs them for something, I really wouldn't mind if they're willing to pick up the postage tab just to move them on to somebody who could do something with them. I'm going to keep those tie rod ends, obviously, but the rest of it, I just, you know, it's taking up space and it's heavy, so I'd rather not move it up here, because it's a little heavy. I can put a few light things up there and not that one big heavy thing. Something else, I measured from there, the foot of the ladder, to the top of the ladder. This is a 12-foot ladder. Top to bottom it folds in a few places, but this is a 12-foot ladder. And if you look at the top, there's not a lot left over. Basically, with this angle, it's 10.5 feet from top to bottom. Pluses and minuses with that, well, the plus is I have a tall garage. You know, I went the couple of blocks up to keep the snow and all that crap out. That works well. The bad thing is, for pull down stairs, that's not a standard length, which means I'm going to have to kind of have a fold down platform from here that comes up to some height, and then pull the stairs down to go onto the fold down platform. And then once again, the platform goes back up against the wall and the stairs go back up. So, yeah, another thing to build. You guys could see I basically emptied this. I put a bunch of power tools in here that need to be sorted. I already told you I want to kind of get those guys underneath. I got to figure out where I'm putting those motors. I think there's going to be one more shelf on top here that really light things are going to go into. This thing here could kind of go into the end of it perhaps, but it's not going to be much of a shelf. This is like 11 inches from studs to out. The next one up is going to have to be 10 inches or less, because I got to be able to, whatever I put up there, I got to be able to squeeze in between the shelf and the door things. I also don't want the door going by and tearing things off the shelf and dropping them on the floor. I don't like that kind. I just put one of those magnetic bars up temporarily to see how it would do. For some of the heavier wrenches, it's not great. For some of the light ones, I mean, it hangs on pretty good. I don't have to worry about them falling off. But I think it'd be really wonderful to have, the tools that I need lined right up there, including perhaps like some of these sockets. Leave them on the bar, of course, or even my newest. I bought that at one of the markets. It's amazing. It's a proto, made in the U.S., made in the United States. This thing is so sharp. It's of quality for doing like fingernails. Unfortunately, I got too close to the welder with it and some kind of melted the handle a little bit. That's my fault. But it'd be nice, once again, even to have this kind of stuff, magnetically attached. Then when I need it, just pull it off and use it. Have everything right where I can see it, right where I can reach it. No walking around. Stand here, work right on the bench. It'll be nice. But once again, I want to get, when I'm done with this mess, I want a clear bench. I want nothing on the bench. Which is going to be a little hard because there's a million things that want to kind of land on the bench between welders and chop saws and drills, other tools. I have a couple of drill presses that I really like to set up on a bench somewhere, but I'd really like to keep this as my workbench. And if I put a drill press up there to use it, fine, get it down when I'm done. Do it that way. I think I'm also going to try to get some sheet metal to cover this plywood with. This plywood just isn't going to hold up very well, so I should cover it with sheet metal. I also want to get through the bottom here and figure out logically what should be in these bins, so when I slide them out I could take whatever out. I don't know if there should be a drill, an electric drill in some of them. I think some of that tailoring will happen as I use it and see what makes sense. I'm debating also whether to hang some of these. Musty One actually has an area in his garage where all his grinding tools exist. The stuff is all hung up, so it looks like you can just walk over there and use them all. He doesn't show pictures of it continuously, so I don't know if that area has a tendency to gather stuff when he's not using it or not. But it'd really be cool, once again, if you could just... Oh, got to grind, right? Perhaps have a vise here, because this is a very strong corner. Just clamp the metal in the vise, grab the grinder. Probably the grinder should be here then. Grind if that's what I need to do. Drill if that's what I need to do. Whatever I need to do to fabricate, have it so that I can get the vise off if I need to. So I can probably keep it here. Listen to me babble, eh? It could probably stay here. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of reason to take it on and off. Anyway. So I've played with that, and you guys have been with me long enough to know that my mind's always going 14 different directions all at once. While I was up in the loft, I grabbed some siding, and this is Obviously it's not done yet. I'm going to put the siding, attach it such that it goes underneath the tarp, and then that's what's going to basically block that. Though basically the reason to do that is to keep the water off the wood here. It's the tarp over passes the wood. Oh, I also meant to bring some down and replace this plywood with plastic, with siding also, particularly the strong edge of the siding. Anyway, I'm about wrapping it up for the week. I'm coming into a 4-day rotation. I don't like 4-day rotations. I thought that I had vacation scheduled for all of it, my 4-day rotations, but then the characters at work started to overwrite my vacation. And work, your boss asks you to help him out. You got one of two choices. You can be a dickhead and say no, but then when you need a favor, he can be a dickhead right back. Or you could kind of go with the flow, and I had my last 4-day overwritten. I had this 4-day overwritten. It's making me cranky, but at this point there's not much I could do, because if I had the money to retire, I'd already be retired. Okay, folks, live, love, and have a great time. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Horde. Let's hope for many, many more days like this. And remember, in the meantime, tires down, handlebars up, and take the time to clean up your stuff once in a while, especially before it gets this bad. What I've done wrong with this garage, and for anybody building a garage, try not to make this mistake. I turned this garage into storage. I never turned it into a workshop. I right from day one, I started to put crap in here between the Cushman and the tractors and quads and trikes and two-wheelers, the motorcycles. And then my son's crap on top of this platform last year. I've always used this garage for storage, and I never meant it to be just for storage. I meant it to be a workshop, but I turned it into storage. I filled it with crap, and I made it unusable. It was a mistake right from the beginning. If you're building a garage, think about how could I set up my workshop in the garage such that it's functional. How can I make things work right from the beginning? Set up your workbench, set up your tools, your storage, set things up right from the beginning. If I would have put a set of stairs, if I would have thought about it and set this up and put a set of stairs right from the beginning, I could be just so much more organized. Though, on the counterpoint with this, I worked out here in the sun in the winter. The sun does this on the horizon, and this is a real sunny, warm spot. I might have set the workshop up on that side, which is a little better during the summer. It's the shady side of the place, but it would have been a lot worse during the winter. Literally, it's just cold over there. It's shady. It's the north side. If you have a difference with the sun beating on the dark siding, and when the snow melts on the dirt and all here, it literally warms up. It's in this little spot. It's probably 5-10 degrees warmer. Plus the sun beating on you warms the bones. So this is a great spot to work during the winter. Anyway, folks, 20 minutes. I gotta run. Take care. Bye now.